Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the GSA Triple Bingo SMO tournament. We've got a round 2 match today between Samura1man and Dray33. And I'm on the mic with Agron tonight.
Hey.
Agron, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one here. But we've got our runners here for a little pre-interview. So we'll start with Dray. Dray, how are you feeling?
Feeling okay. I think as long as if there's a capture task that I need to do, as long as I keep my captures counted and I keep my purple coins counted, I should be okay.
Yeah, those are pretty infamous for being tough to nail down because they take the whole run. But what about you, Sam? Are you worried about any particular goals?
Mostly those new goals since the last tournament I played on. I haven't played Odyssey for a long time that much, so new goals were added, and I was a little bit browsing through the new goals today when I was like thinking what will be the best option. I saw lots of new ones, so I hope those aren't gonna hurt me too much for routing.
I mean, honestly, the only one that I'd be like extremely worried about is life up parts, just because that's one of those collect, all match type of task.
Yeah, that one can be really weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've been focusing on Sunshine recently, I believe. Is that right?
Yep, I've been doing runs for that.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, we're happy to have you back here for some Odyssey tonight.
I was asked for
yeah,
a little bit, so
yeah,
I'm here now.
Well, all right. I think unless you guys have anything else to add, we are good to go here. So, any final thoughts, boys?
Good luck.
Yeah, just good luck to Samu.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck, everyone.
It's gonna be a good match. I'm counting on you guys. All right, you guys can go ahead and leave the call, and we'll get you counted down.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Agron, what are we thinking?
All right. Well, what am I thinking? Sammy's taken quite the hiatus from Odyssey. I wonder how that's gonna impact his general knowledge of the game, also potential execution-wise. Yeah, should be interesting.
Yeah, that's such a long break for Samu here. I think it'll definitely show, but hopefully he's done a little bit of warm-up for this at least.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how much he's been doing Odyssey lately, if at all. So
yeah, I mean, he used to be pretty darn good back in the day, so.
Oh yeah, definitely. What a legend.
Good. Yeah.
Why did he go for it?
Luckily, there will be no 2D skipping in this race today. So.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, we're getting underway here. Should have our board revealed in just a second for you guys.
I had to bring that up at least once during this match.
Of course, it is his most infamous moment. But anyway.
It's a legendary thing. All right, let's look at this board. Ooh, 12 lost in the center. That's not too bad.
Yeah, that's a pretty free one. You need 10 to leave anyway, so that one's practically
that's only 2 extra moons. And Lost is one of those kingdoms where, realistically, any extra moons can be collected within literal seconds.
Yeah.
Because they're all right next to each other.
Yep. And of course, so just to explain the format a little bit, so this is triple bingo. So we've got a 5x5 grid of random objectives here, and we've got to complete 3 lines of them, any 3 what they want. And the objectives range from anywhere in Cat Kingdom to Snow or Seaside. Lunch and On is not a part of this at all, so.
And
yeah, typically...
one thing to note is both Samu and Dray are going to be taking this time just running through Cap and the beginning of Cascade, and they're obviously going to be playing, but while they're playing, they have to format what 3 lines they want to go for. And the thing with this is you want to pick lines that either synergize well, get an early finish, or preferably both.
Yep, exactly. Just kind of on autopilot for now.
Yeah,
and you'll notice the
general guidelines.
Yeah.
When it comes to picking good rows in triple bingo.
Yeah, you'll notice that Dray opted to grab the checkpoint here in Cap, just in case he needs to come back later, whereas Samu went for a left side. Didn't quite work out for him, but He's getting along just
left
fine.
side and bingo.
I do it sometimes. I almost always grab that checkpoint though before I go for it. So hopefully that won't bite Samu in the butt.
Well, yeah, that's the thing with the checkpoint.
Yeah. And you'll see on this
to grab,
board,
but it ruins your alignment setup for left side normally. So
exactly on this board there is Captain Toad cap in the near the bottom right.
there's also 6 moons cap, so
Yeah.
we could see some cap backtrack. I haven't exactly scanned the board long enough to know if it's viable yet, though.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the board here. I haven't really been coming up with a route yet, but 12 Moons Lost is obviously looking really good for the center square.
Yeah, that center square is really, honestly, a blessing. There are some boards where you have a really bad center square, like 100 moons total, or 225 total regionals with no regional goals to synergize it with, and it can be kind of a nightmare, to be honest.
Yeah, and speaking of regionals, we see Dre's going for these early regionals in Cascade before he goes on with the first moon.
Yes, he is. So, let's see.
And I don't think there is a Cascade regionals objective specifically on this board. Unless I'm just blind.
I don't think I see one either. So it's interesting that he's going
Huh.
for that. He could
There's not a
potentially
total
doing it
regional
for. He could potentially be doing it for all regional coins in one kingdom.
Oh, that's probably it. The Cascade is
I
one of the better
don't
options
know
for that.
for sure. I don't really see like another kingdom that could potentially work with. I don't really think that's a good goal on this board, but since it's a corner square, he might be forced to go for it with his route.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, with the center square and the corner squares, they're pretty useful because you can combo them into multiple lines, especially with diagonals.
Definitely.
Yeah, Dre's being pretty thorough here. I believe there are quite a few coins in the sub areas here in Cascade, so if he is going for that, I wouldn't be surprised if he's going for 12 Moons Cascade as well, just to make it worth his time.
Sub area, the one with the chasm lifts, that one has the 4 purples at the end.
Yep.
So it would be decent synergy to pair that up if he's going for column 5. He could get the all regional coins in one kingdom, work toward one of his 2 sub areas in Cascade, and get his 8-bit moons.
Yeah, and that top left, bottom right diagonal.
Plan. That's actually pretty good synergy.
That's a really strong start, actually.
There's also 12 Moons Cascade in column 2, so he might be looking at that as well.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at this board, I think we'll see an early finish here with no Snow or Seaside. There are a couple objectives for Seaside that I'm seeing, but I'm pretty sure we could avoid them just fine.
Now you also need to think about, is the early finish worth it? Most of the time it is, but I have seen some crazy boards where, early finish requires 225 total regionals, 6 multi-moons, and it honestly may not be worth it if you're doing so much out of the way. Or like 9 treasure chests with an early finish is kind of nuts, since there's not that many treasure chests up through the end of Wooded. I think there's 10 total, so you'd only be allowed to miss 1.
Yep.
So
it
definitely, and some of those treasure chests are pretty out of the way, in each of their respective kingdoms.
It's very important to know your counts for those specific kinds of moons. It can throw off your whole route if you end up either not knowing where one is or having to backtrack for one, or worse yet, having to go to a new kingdom to find one.
Yeah, for certain. I mean, honestly, I'm just curious how much Samu studied all of this stuff again. Because, not having played Odyssey for a while, just in general.
Yeah, we'll see that he actually turned in his moons and then immediately decided, no, I'm not done in Cascade here. So seeing a little bit of shakiness from him already. But hopefully he's got it figured out now. Maybe
Potentially.
Muscle memory to get on the Odyssey.
Yeah. But yeah, it's still pretty early game. Mistakes aren't, 100%
Yeah, for certain.
bad yet. Just as long as you have a route by the time you're leaving Cascade.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think with this board, these guys should be able to figure out something fairly soon if they haven't already. This one seems pretty nice to me.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I already see a couple of options. I don't know which one of them is the best, though, to be honest.
No. For me, I'm thinking the top left, bottom right diagonal, and row 1, column 5. Let's make a little triangle here.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Like I said, with those 9 treasure chest moons, you're going out of your way for a lot of them, more than likely. Unless if you're planning to visit Deep Woods, and unless if you're planning to, you know, potentially go into the pyramid. Though, if you're getting all 3 of the ones in the lake, you can skip the, you know, one in pyramid and the one in underground and sand. Which might be wise, because those are pretty out of the way. Especially on this board, this doesn't seem to be that heavy of a sand board. Like, there's 1 sand goal down at the bottom of column 3.
Yeah, no, that's a little unusual. Sand is typically where you would spend a whole lot of time for bingo. Either
now, there could be some cool synergy with the 8 bits and the treasure chest if you choose to do that.
Yeah, that is true, because the inverted pyramid does, of course, contain a 8-bit moon right on the outside, and then a treasure chest on the inside.
Exactly. However, I don't think we'll be seeing that, just because it doesn't really look like the way the board works doesn't really allow for that to happen.
Yep. And Samu marking off his 4 moons and sub-areas. Dray will be finishing up quickly as well.
Another thing to keep in mind with triple bingo is goal progression doesn't exactly matter as much, because you can have a bunch of goals that you can just be working on throughout the whole bingo, and then just mark like 5 at the end, and all of a sudden, oh, it's over.
Yeah, certainly.
So.
Yeah, because Dre's definitely had a bit more of an eventful cascade here. He's really cleaning up these purples. I'm impressed with this knowledge.
Yeah, I think he's definitely planning to do that synergy that we mentioned earlier. With the all regionals in one kingdom, the 4 moons from sub-areas and Cascade, which he's just marked.
Okay.
Dray
taking the intended route through this sub-area. You can actually just jump from this area that he just piped into and just do a half bounce over to those purples instead. A little bit faster and honestly a little bit easier. But
however, is that that jump can be slightly tricky, just because I mean, like, I don't know, personally I've had moments where I value dived off the edge and then had to reach the whole sub area. So I think he's just playing it safe, and I don't blame him for doing that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because that's a huge time loss if that does happen. Granted, that's only happened to me once, but I'm pretty paranoid about doing that sub area that way nowadays.
Yeah. Let's see if Dray knows where his last group of purples is. It is behind the waterfall, I believe, underneath. But he may know. He's just getting this 8-bit moon.
I think what happened there was he collected the purples in between the Odyssey and the 8-bit section, and then realized, oh, I still need the other 8-bit moon, and then exited. Because, you know, it would have made more sense to get those and then drop down to get the ones by the painting. Unless if those aren't the ones that he needs.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay, yep. Silly man.
Oh, okay.
All right.
It looks like we weren't really paying that much attention, because it was those 3 that he needed.
Looks like I wasn't paying much attention, I guess.
Nah, me neither.
But right there, he's gonna mark off 3 goals in 1 with that set of purples in that final moon there.
So yeah, it's definitely a strong start. That's that's some very good synergy to start out with. And we can kind of already predict what he might be going for already, just based off of that start.
Yeah, I would say the top left diagonal was a given at this point, and column 5 likely as well. I don't think he got both the timer challenges, unless I, again, was not paying attention. Right. I'm not sure he got the one in the Madame Brutal arena, so maybe not going for row 1.
I don't think he went for timers. Either of them.
No.
So we could probably cross off row 1 at this point. Honestly, row 1 is kind of a stressful row because you have to keep track of both the timers and the treasure chests. And
Absolutely.
those don't really, you know, match up synergy-wise when routing kingdoms.
Yeah, that's a fair consideration.
Which can be kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, I think generally
like that.
It's a good idea to try and limit your long-term goals to only a couple of different categories here. So, because again, it is difficult to find a way to quickly get treasure chests and timers and 8-bits.
Yeah, some boards can definitely be a headache when it comes to those long-term goals. Because you just have in your head, oh, I need to make sure that I get the 2 8-bits in sand, or oh, I need to make sure I get the 4 treasure chests as well, and you know, just all that stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, earlier I was playing a board where I had to make sure that I had both of the sub areas in the lake like completed. I had to make sure I get all 3 of the treasure chests in the lake, and I had to make sure I had to get the 1 moon from Lakitu fishing. So that was a mess.
Yeah, it doesn't sound
Poor
too fun.
planning on my part, but I made it work.
Yeah. Anyway, on Samu's end here, it looks like he's doing a lot of any percent for Sand Kingdom here. And also, I can't help but notice that he's playing in English. So that might be just because for the Sphinx questions, just to make sure that he selects the right answers.
Yeah, I feel like that's the only reason why English would be preferred over Japanese and bingo.
Yeah, of course, there are some objectives that do require you to answer a certain amount of those Sphinx questions. They are not present on this board, though, so that's not going to do them any good.
It's only 6 and 8.
Yep.
6 being a kind of unique one, because it does allow for early finishes, since there is 1 Sphinx question in Wooded, along with the 5 in Sand. So...
Yeah, it's an unusual one, because that Sphinx in Wooded is usually quite useless.
But as for this board, you know, like Aggie said, no Sphinx question, no need to worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very curious what Samu's plan here is, because he has just any percented his way through this whole thing.
Yeah, honestly, any percenting sand on this board doesn't seem like a bad idea. There's just not too much going on in sand.
Yeah, true. True. Of course, even without the sand-specific goals, there are 2 8-bit moons here that you have to choose from. There is a slots moon that you could want. There are, I believe, 3 treasure chest moons you could potentially pick up here.
Mm-hmm.
And a hint art as well, is that right? No, there's not a hint art.
No. The hint art appears in post-game only.
That's right. But yeah, I guess we can cross off those possibilities for Samu potentially. So Calm 5 or Row 1, not looking too likely for him.
Doesn't look like it.
Meanwhile, Drake taking the Story Moon at the top of the tower after getting an 8-bit moon. That'll be his 3rd. So we'll see if he goes for Inverted Pyramid Clip here to try and pick up another 8-bit inside that area. But he's not done here yet, apparently.
Not quite.
Pretty nice planning there. He spawned that moon earlier by breaking the box, but chose to leave it until afterwards. And wow, he is going for the Bullet Bill crossing over to the Shards area. This man is on top of it. That's a smart play.
Yeah, that's definitely a big brain moon.
Big brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is...
That's personally something that I usually do sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm not going to this Moai area from the left side or whatever the heck. Because, you know, you can just cross the gap with a simple triple jump or long jump.
Yep, from the top of the tower. But there is a 3 Moons from Shards objective near the bottom left, so I really only see that as the only reason he would be getting this moon right now.
Do you know if they allowed clips in this match?
I am not sure. No, I did not see them discuss it, although IP clip, the Inverted Pyramid clip, that is possible on all versions, so it should be allowed.
because the IP clip would be kind of useful if he just wanted to go into the pyramid real quick and get that 8-bit area and the treasure chest.
Yeah.
Though maybe he just didn't see it as necessary since he needed shard spoons anyway.
Sure. Also, we'll see Samu is now talking to Captain Toad and Cap, probably regretting not getting that checkpoint. He did have to go through the frog room once again.
Yeah.
Which is strictly a time waste because there's nothing else in there.
Yeah, that was definitely an oversight on Sammy's part.
Yeah.
You should always grab that checkpoint at the start. Even if you know you don't need it, like, there might be an oversight in your route that requires...
You never truly know you don't need it, especially when you're only about a minute into the run.
Yeah, it's really hard to plan that far ahead that quickly. I mean, like, there have been boards where I have had a route almost immediately. You know, you should just still grab the checkpoint. It's not even a second.
No. Samu, of course, going for the Cap's Moon Gold here. And with just marking it off red. And he's also getting a Shards Moon here. There are 2 Shards Moons in the sub-areas of Cap. I don't think he got the second one.
Personally, that second one, I wouldn't say it's slow, but I'm definitely not a fan of that sub-area.
Me either. This one is definitely the quicker and easier one to go for.
The Frog Room is definitely the better one out of the two, if you know what you're doing. However, if he needed 6 moons, I probably would have just done the second one anyway. Since, you know, push block peril really doesn't do him that much good.
Yeah, potentially. It could just be the case that, you know, he's not going for shards, but it looked like if he was, it would have been a good idea to do both of them and just get 6 moons just like that.
Yeah, it definitely could be the case that he just isn't going for shards and he just wanted the 6 moons in the cap. Which does require at least doing 1 sub-area, pretty much.
Yep.
I think you could get 6 without any of the sub-areas. No, actually no you can't, because there's 3 sub-areas in cap, and only 11 moons available on first visit.
Wow.
Second visit. Whatever.
Aggron dropping the knowledge. I did not know that.
Gotta drop the knowledge, Aggie.
Yep.
Gotta drop the knowledge.
We're seeing Dray taking a long roll over to the inverted pyramid now. He's actually already got 17 moons here, which is 1 more than required, and he's presumably going to pick up some more here. So maybe...
I think he's looking at that 22 moon goal that I was talking about earlier.
Oh yeah, okay, that is on the
row
board.
5.
Right. If that's the case, then this could be a good plan here. If he just picks up 2 moons here and then does Harriet, he'll get warps back to the Odyssey and have exactly 22.
Now, keep in mind that while Harriet gives 3 moons, you also have to keep in mind that it comes with, like, a minute cutscene afterward.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So, it seems like a good idea on paper, but then, you know, there's that cutscene where you're just sitting there waiting for Night Sand to activate. It's just... oh man, it's just a really long cutscene.
Yeah. I think typically if you were strictly just going for 22 moons in sand, it's probably not your best bet to do this, but if his routing just worked out this way, I mean, you know, it's hard to plan out the whole kingdom ahead of time.
Definitely. He could also warp out of the treasure chest room, and then... oh, wait.
Yeah, okay. He's not going for the treasure chest. He could still get the moon on the Jaxie's tail.
I think that pretty much confirms that he's not doing row 1 for sure now.
Yeah,
I mean, at first I was maybe thinking, oh, maybe he'll just revisit, but nah, he's definitely not doing it.
Yeah, but he is going to do Harriet here. So hopefully this fight goes well for him.
Like I said, this seems like a good idea on paper. And, you know, it's still a decent idea, I feel. It's just that cutscene. It's just really long. It's such a waste of time.
Yeah, for sure.
And there are plenty of fast moons that you can collect in sand to reach 22.
Yep.
Like,
I mean,
32 total, I could see fighting Harriet, because at that point you're running out of moons to get.
Oh, I almost always go for it with 32.
Believe it or not, it is possible to do 32 moons in Sam without the pyramid.
Wow.
Is it good?
Without even entering?
Probably not.
Interesting.
But with the 22 moons total, I can definitely justify not doing pyramid.
Yeah.
Or at least the Harriet fight, anyway.
Alright, Samu finishing up his lake here. He's being a speedy boy here. He did look at that hint art, so that gives us a little bit of a clue over what he's trying to do here. Going for a little fishing. This one is quite notorious for being a struggle because the pond shape is quite awkward. But he's getting it. Not too much of a struggle. If he could... There we go. Wow, that took an oddly long time.
Lackatoo fishing.
Everyone's favorite.
Fun stuff. Fun stuff. I still remember when I was just starting bingo, and I was completely petrified that goal, because I didn't know how lackatoo fishing worked. Keep in mind, this was before I ran darker side, and, well, let's just say, I think in one of the matches in the last bingo tourney on Speed Gaming, I might have spent 4 minutes lackatoo fishing.
Good lord.
Not one of my proudest moments.
No, probably not.
But hey, it was...
Yeah, Samu picking up the Shards Moon. It could just be as part of his presumably 18 lakes, or 18 moons in lake goal. But maybe he is going for those shards after all, and just
yeah,
chose
I'm
to
not
skip.
entirely certain. You know, he might have just, you know, just didn't think about the other sub-area in cap.
Yeah, sure. Again, for Samu, it has been a little bit of a time since he was back on the Odyssey instead of Sunshine, so his knowledge may be a little less complete than Dre's here. Meanwhile, Dray, seeing that that checkpoint is a good idea, getting to warp to it, he'll be able to finish this backtrack to cap much quicker than Samu was, hopefully.
I think they both decided to go for these scenes in cap.
Yeah, looks like it.
Looks like it.
I'm thinking Dray looks likely to do row 5, top left diagonal, and then column 5. That would give him a metro finish with a cloud backtrack. Certainly wouldn't be the worst route.
Yeah, the only thing I'm concerned about with Dray right now... Oh, okay, he only went to cap for the Captain Toad, never mind.
Okay, interesting.
My initial concern was that he was doing column 2 and just wasn't thinking about the timers. Because he's already missed plenty of timers.
Yeah, that would have been a tragedy. He's a smart boy, though.
But not.
Dray
knows what's happening.
Yeah. Probably a little hard for him to justify going back to cap just for that single thing, but sometimes you got to make concessions to make the rest of your route work.
To be honest, revisits in general aren't as bad as they may seem. On paper, they seem atrocious because you're going to one kingdom for one thing. The cutscene to get back to the kingdom, via the Odyssey cutscene transition. I think that's like what, almost 40 seconds or something.
Yeah, give or take.
But if it allows you to potentially early finish, or there's good synergy with that revisit, it makes it all the more worth it.
Yeah, that's true. I think typically I would disagree. Oh, hold on. Samu's going for this painting jump and long jumped a little too early. Didn't get his hat back in time.
Not quite.
Very difficult.
I hope he didn't need that.
It looks like he's looking at 15 moons right now, so he's got to get 3 more somewhere. Oh, the 18 moons in late
hoping
can
that
be
was
tricky.
just for the moon count and not for the treasure chests.
I'm thinking probably not. I suppose he has gotten 2 in sand. He did not get the treasure chest in Cascade.
Keep in mind, if you're going all the way to Seaside or Snow, 9 treasure chests is an extremely forgiving goal.
Yeah, that is true. There are a lot more treasure chest moons than you would think there are in this game.
I think there's 6 in Seaside alone.
Good lord.
Keep in mind, 2 of those 6 are in sub-areas, and 1 is locked behind the Sphinx Vault. So, might not be your best bet to get all of them in Seaside.
Yeah, certainly not. But okay, looks like Samu did have a backup plan here. He's got his 18, including that Shard's Moon, and he is making his exit from Lake Kingdom.
And then the ones in snow, you know, you got Snowdram, you got the treasure chest in town, and then you have the one inside the ice wall barrier room. So.
Yep.
I mean, I guess if you can do Snowdram, you got 2 pretty easy chests in snow.
Yeah. And I did not catch it if Dray went for the 8-bit moon here in Lake or not.
I unfortunately didn't catch it either, though based off of what his lines are, I think he is going for 8-bit moons. I'd be surprised if he didn't go for it at this point.
Yeah, that is a very easy one to get. I know he only got 8 moons here, so he could have just done an 80% with a single replacement moon. But I guess we'll see. I would be shocked if he didn't. We're gonna have to start paying more attention here, Akron.
It's hard to pay attention while commentating.
Yeah, certainly. There's a lot going on. And Sam is actually going for a Cascade backtrack here, getting a timer challenge.
Now, is it because he forgot, or because he's working this in with something else on the revisit?
Typically, if you were going for a Cascade revisit, it would be to get the shiny rock.
The shiny rock is the big one.
Yep.
3 shiny rocks, you're forced to revisit Cascade because the 3rd one appears here.
Yep, that's right.
After
because the
Madam Brood, or after, you know, leaving the first time.
Yeah, because the shiny rock is located under where the Odyssey originally is on the first visit.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking it's more the case of Samu didn't quite have a route figured out when he left Cascade, and now he does and realizes that, oh crap, I have to get some stuff here.
That can definitely happen, but, you know, it's not the end of the world per se.
No, definitely not. It's a relatively quick kingdom to revisit.
Yeah.
But yep, looks like he did just want those timer challenges, and he's back on the road again. That should bring his total to 3 timer challenges, with the one he got in Cap Kingdom. Or no, I'm sorry. He got 2 in Lake as well. I forgot he's already gone there. So he's got 5 timer challenges now.
Which makes sense with the route I think he's doing. Because in that case, he'd be going to Metro.
Yep. Yeah, of course, timer challenge is actually being one of my preferred spots to go for in terms of long-term goals, because there's a surprising amount of timer challenges.
Samu must have forgot something like.
Oh boy.
Okay, keep in mind, I said backtracking is only good if you know, plan it ahead of time and make sure you're not going through this transition too much. Keep in mind, this is 40 seconds each time he's doing this.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on how many moons you're turning in. If you're not turning in any at all, the cutscene is much, much quicker, because you can start the warp immediately. But even with a single moon, it makes the cutscene much longer.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so like that one was probably like 30 seconds.
Yeah. He's getting some regionals
getting
here.
The purples in this zipper.
Oh, 10 regionals in Lake.
Oh, he didn't get 10 regionals.
That's definitely just an oversight. 10 regionals obviously not being a terribly difficult goal to get.
Yeah, for certain.
Yeah, that's rough. You can definitely, with bingo, especially if you know, you haven't played it in a while and you're kind of frazzled with a board like this that has a lot of long-term objectives that you need to be keeping track of. It's very easy to just space it when you're in the kingdom that you need to do something in.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how I managed to play bingo without, like, ever writing stuff down. Like, I'm sure that's a helpful thing to do, but I don't know, I can just keep it in my big head.
You know, that's actually how I do it as well. I just keep it all in there. The notepad of lines.
I mean, realistically, I should write stuff down, especially, like, regional counts at the end of Kingdoms.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's the big one for me, anyway. Where I'm
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
okay, I forgot how many regionals I got in that kingdom. I'll make sure to collect like 20 extra in another kingdom.
No. Samu getting his tree capture here, so that'll be another goal marked off for him. Looks like he's going for row 3 and row 4 with a seaside route, which should
Looks
imply
like
that
he's
he's
going
going
to
to have a pretty busy wooded here with 28 moons.
Yeah, that route definitely has a lot of... I think he forgot the treasure chest order.
That's a rough one. I believe it is
It's
middle,
and
right, left? Oh, okay. Well, he got it that time. Luckily, the game
Aggie,
just
run darker
kinda
side.
tells you. No thanks.
Well, actually, no, this moon got cut out recently. Never mind.
Oh, interesting.
Anyways.
Yeah. Back to this. Dre's having some fun with the dino here. I'm not sure where he's headed. Is there a
Both of
ground
them are
pound moon over
active
here?
Woods right now.
There is a ground pound moon over here.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're both trying to find the ground pound moons.
Yeah, so
Well,
that should
actually,
be...
No, Sammy probably isn't. That's not in his route.
Yeah. Well, they've both got 2 ground pound moons. It looks like neither of them care too much, though. Just getting it for the moon count.
Yeah, 28. Yeah, 28 and wooded is a lot. It definitely helps to know your way around deep woods. You know, it can actually be a really fast and fairly useful place if you know how to navigate it.
Yeah, sure. Of course, with deep woods, you spawn in a different place down here depending on where you fall from the overworld, and you respawn back in the overworld depending on which vine you take up. So if you know exactly how those spawns work, you can actually use it as a really useful way to get to where
around
you want to
wooded
go.
pretty quickly.
Yep.
You
For
know,
example,
just-
Dray here, just coming up with that vine instead so that he's right back to where he left off in the overworld. Pretty smart.
Speaking of Deepwood's darker side strats, I think Samu is slightly remembering. Oh, okay. Never mind. Okay, forget what I was saying. So, normally, in darker side, there's a strat where you do that timer, and then, you know, you planted the vine while you're doing the timer, and then you just go up the vine afterward. But I guess he needs more moons, so he's doing peculiar pipes. Quite peculiar, if you ask me.
Oh, very. Now, the trick with this one is Mario will look at the pipe that you need to take.
Personally, I don't think I've ever done this moon in a bingo.
I don't think I have either. It's a tricky one, and it can be slow, especially if you mess it up.
I guess if you know what you're doing, though, it's a good idea.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe.
Anyway, Samu exiting Deep Woods here with 7 moons, and I don't think he's gotten any above ground yet. So we could just be looking at a slightly altered any % route for him.
Well, it looks like he's going for row 4, so I think he does need 28 moons in wooded,
Yeah, sure.
which is 12 extra than you
Yeah.
normally need to leave.
So he would need to do 5 additional moons to normal any % to finish this out.
Yeah, definitely doing a lot in deep woods was smart, since he already had to go down there.
Yeah, certainly. Dray, on the other hand, I don't believe he had to go down there at all if he didn't want to.
Why
So,
did Dray go down there, then? I guess for extra...
Probably just for the moons, because he also needs his 28. Oh, Sam had taken a little bonk there.
You can do 28 without deep woods. Is it recommended? I don't know. I'm actually not sure on that one.
I think typically there is also a goal that's 24 moons in wooded. I would usually not do deep woods for that unless I had something else to do down there. But 28 is definitely quite a bit steeper. So maybe deep woods would be the right call there.
I mean, well, I don't know. I'm, thinking about it, because, there are a lot of moons in the upper level of wooded that, you know, you don't even touch in any %.
Yeah,
We're able to
absolutely.
get 16 just with the moons in the lower half.
Yep. Of course, the upper half of this kingdom does require that you beat Spirit to have any fun up there, because everything's not spawned beforehand.
There's actually a couple of things that you can do up there, and with Nut Clip, there's actually a decent amount of new utility with that. Like, I believe the 8-bit section is available. So if you wanted to do the 8-bit section before fighting Spirit, if you did Nut Clip, like, you could do that.
Yeah, true. Very true.
I'm not sure if I'd ever do that, but just because I'm not very confident with all of that out-of-bounds movement. But...
No,
I mean,
not
I
seeing
guess
it today, though. Yep. Very true. Anyway, we'll see. Spirit is taking a tumble here for Dray. And I'm going to assume that he's going to be visiting the upper half here and getting said 8-bit moon.
I would think so. Like I said, there are a ton of moons up there that can definitely be overshadowed. Because, like I said earlier, we're able to get 16 just by doing the lower half of Wooded. And we still miss a few there. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like 28 would still be reasonable without Deep Woods.
Yeah.
I think... Okay, I'd probably go to Deep Woods. I don't think 32 is a normal bingo, though, so probably safe on that one.
32 in Wooded. That's a Monka S for me.
Yeah, I think the max in normal is 28, so...
No. And we'll see Dre picking up his 20th with the any percent movement. That would typically be done at the start. But a little mix and match on the ordering of stuff here as bingo goes. Now I'm trying to still figure out what Samu's third line would be. He's obviously row 3 and row 4. I would think the top left diagonal would have been a really good one for him to pair with that, but he didn't.
Considering he went back to Cascade for the timers, like,
exactly.
I'd want to say Column 2, but then he didn't mark 12 moons in Cascade. So now I'm really confused what his third line is.
It's a man of mystery.
It could be just the fact that he got 12 moons and we weren't paying attention and forgot to mark it.
That would be a bamboozle for sure.
It's probably that, to be honest.
I guess we'll see. Well, he did do some sub areas, so he got the 5 required, and then he went back and got 4 in sub areas, so that would give him 9, and then he did the 2 timers on a revisit, so that would give him at least 11. I'm not sure if he got a 12th anywhere along the way.
Ooh, that's very unfortunate. If he can get back up to the uproot in time, though, he should be okay.
It's gonna be close.
It's gonna be close.
Oh, Samu! Okay.
Alright, he got it. That was close, though.
Not what you want to see, but it could have been much, much worse if that uproot despawned for him.
I mean, he probably would have just said, eh, I don't need that moon.
Yeah, maybe. And we'll see, Dre is indeed going for this 8-bit moon here. Or his 23rd. We'll see where he takes the rest of his Wooded.
He needs 5 more. And I don't think he's been to the area with the gets area, so...
No, I do not believe he has.
It's probably fine. If I had to guess, he's gonna get Nut on the Tall Fence. Thanks for the charge. The Goomba Moon. And the Rocket Sub area.
Yep. Oh, actually skipping that Nut. Unless he got it earlier. Again, we're apparently not paying enough attention here. These guys are moving too fast for us.
He might have gotten it earlier, in which case it's 28th.
Yeah. Alright, he is going for this Goomba Moon here.
As suspected.
Oh, going for the true Mega Sack. Alright.
Okay, you don't need that many Goombas.
Yeah, actually, he got an extra 2. There is a little slope.
He only needs 7.
Yep. You can see on the right of the platform Goombet is on. You can just stand over there and you can get it with a few less Goombas, but that's okay. They're all together
what's interesting
now.
about that one, actually, is, like, I think the game wants you to get 8, but you can get away with doing 7 if you just turn around really quick and look at Goombet.
Yep.
I don't know, it's weird. I don't really know what triggers that. So... it's just
Yeah, I don't
something
know. I think
you can do to do it with one less Goomba.
Yep. Anyway, Dray is doing the sub area here. This is gonna give him 27 moons, so maybe a slightly suboptimal routing here, because he's gonna have to exit the sub area and then go somewhere else rather than just warping straight to the Odyssey after this. But this should be his 3rd Shards moon.
Yeah, definitely. I think his last moon's gonna be not around the corner. Meanwhile, Samu is also approaching his 28 moon count.
Yep.
Now...
And, go ahead.
Oh no. I'm just still thinking of what Sammy's 3rd line could be.
Yeah, it's really strange.
I'm stumped, man.
Chosen not to do what appears to be some pretty good stuff here. But he's presumably got a plan up there.
If he did get 12 moons in Cascade, I would say column 2.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. Like, he went back for the timers, which makes me think that he did get 12 moons. And just didn't mark it.
We shall see. We shall see.
Because he already did do the 4 moons from sub-areas as well.
Yeah.
So that's already 9. And then the 2 timers is 11. So, like, you're telling me that he grabbed 11 moons and left?
Yeah. Looks like Sammy's not fully remembering quite how the
Like, it just doesn't seem likely. That was a very interesting way to do that sub area.
Yeah, he did not get the secret nut moon below.
He didn't. Okay.
He needs it.
He just.
Oh no, he doesn't. He's got 28. Yeah, he just wants that shards moon, marking it off for his goal. Okay. I mean, if you don't need it, you don't need it. You probably could have cut out someone or some other moon earlier in the run, but that's okay.
Yeah, I think what we said earlier is true. He forgot to mark the 12 moons in Cascade.
Yeah.
Because, like,
it's got to be the case at this point.
Shard, so it has to be column 2.
Yep. And we'll see, we're both moving on to Cloud Kingdom here. And if that's the case, with these lines that we think they're going for, Dray does have a pretty decent lead because he is not choosing to go to Seaside at all.
Dray is in a much better position, I would say.
Yeah.
All he has to do is go to Metro and collect his remaining 8-bit, the 30 regionals, look at a hint art, and then he's going to Cloud.
Yep.
Oh, and his 3rd green shard. He might be planning to get that loss, though.
I thought he got the Lake Shard.
No, that was Hammer.
Oh, okay.
I think Dray's only 2 shard moons have been the Sand Story moon and the Wooded Sub area.
Yeah, he definitely got those too.
So he has not gotten a 3rd yet. Makes me think he's gonna get the Lost one as the 3rd one, since he needs extra moons in Lost.
Yeah, that would probably be a good idea.
Which is not a bad plan.
No, not at all.
Definitely not a bad plan.
Yeah, the Lake Shards is actually probably maybe the slowest shard you can go. And Samu is in Cascade again, getting a 12th moon. Samu.
Wait, did he really not get 12
Oh, Samu.
He was visiting that one time?
Well, he's marked it now. All right, well,
okay, well,
we can put that one to rest at least.
So how many 40-second transitions is that, Aggie?
That's his 3rd
4th?
revisit? Or maybe 4th. It's at least his 3rd.
That is... That's not good.
It's not ideal, no.
Especially since he has to go through all of Metro, but it doesn't look like he has any goals in Metro. So he can just do any percent.
Yeah, that's fair. Of course, any percent in Metro is one of the longest in the entire game.
Like, that's still 8.5
Oh,
minutes
Dray
on
taking a
average,
nasty death there in the 8-bit section. Looks like he didn't quite get that jump input like he wanted.
That's a pretty common death to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, this 8-bit section is kind of mean because it doesn't give you a lot of space to gain momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Dre barely made that.
Okay, bud. And he'll probably be taking an intentional death this time to warp back up to the top here. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, whenever you die, you respawn at the last checkpoint you touched, or the Odyssey if you haven't touched any. But,
Or the shop.
Yeah, or the shop if you last exited the shop. Yes, that is true.
Which is what he did there, actually.
Yep.
He decided to use the shop as the spawn point.
Yep.
I mean, not like it matters, because there was still a checkpoint that he, you know, hit up there. It just so happened that his last spawn point was outside the shop.
Yeah. But that mechanic is especially useful for Lost here because of Klepto, who will steal your hat if you enter certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
So being on the mountaintop is not one of those areas, so it's a really good starting point if you
Lost
need to
is
get some extra.
Lost is a very interesting kingdom in Bingo. I feel like every single time I do Lost in Bingo, it's always different. Like, always.
So that's kind of interesting. I feel like it's at least half the time an any percent for me.
I guess that's just difference in routing. Like,
yeah,
Lost
just different
is
preferences.
a very punishing kingdom if you don't do things properly.
Certainly, yeah.
So, that could just be you trying to play it safe and routing, which is totally fair.
Yeah, maybe.
Lost is just one of those kingdoms that's really punishing if you make a mistake. Samuel.
Exhibit A.
Samuel.
That's alright, bud. We'll get through this.
Alright.
Alright, hopefully he does not trigger Klepto here. He should be fine. That cage is totally good to stand on.
Yeah, he's using the old method to get past Klepto.
Yeah.
Before meme tree was a thing.
Yeah. The ultra throwback.
Like, literally the ultra throwback. I'm pretty sure that was like a day one strat.
Maybe. Anyway, Dre is getting the Shards Moon, as suspected. Good on him.
Yep, as suspected, Dre's last Shards Moon is in loss.
Yep, and that will also be his 12th moon, so he'll be warping on out of here.
I think Dre is looking to get a high 50-something on this board. Because he doesn't have to do that much in Metro, but he still has to go through Night Metro, which is at least 3 minutes.
Yep.
3.5. Probably close to 4 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's about 3.5. But as soon as he does that, he's just gonna take a quick jaunt over to
keep in mind,
the
he can skip the moons, because he doesn't need any moons in Metro.
Yeah, that is exactly
he
right.
just needs to progress the kingdom enough to day Metro.
And it's really in his best interest to get as few moons as possible, not only because, one, that would take time, but it'll also extend his exit cutscene with the moon dump. So ideally, he'll only get those 3 from Mecha Wiggler.
But it's still definitely faster to end his bingo on Picture Match.
Oh, yeah.
So he's still, he's still doing the right idea. It saves 1 loading. Like, 1 loading zone.
Yeah. Plus, then you get to end on Picture Match, which is a bingo tradition. You gotta end with the Smiling Goomba.
We must please Vash.
And we'll see. Yep, Dre does have the right idea here. He is not messing with that moon. Of course, that's one you would normally get on your way through Night Metro.
Yeah, I think he was actually struggling with the movement a little bit because he was like, wait a second. I don't need...
Yeah, it is a bit unnatural to do it that way.
Definitely the biggest culprit of moons that I always get on accident, even knowing that I don't need it, is the City Hall Austin Town moon.
Oh, for sure.
Literally right in the path.
Yeah.
Where we need to go.
It's much easier to just get the moon because it resets your hat bounce and sets you up quite nicely to get... Oh, he naps those purples. I don't think he was intending on getting those.
I don't think so, but...
Hey, it worked out quite well.
Actually, I think he is getting these purples.
Oh yeah, maybe
Personally, with
he's
City
just
Hall
knowing now.
purples, you will only see me collecting these if I can get a Night Metro finish with them.
Yep.
They are very frustrating purples.
Yeah. Now in Night Metro there are 27 purples available, so he
Correct.
won't be able to finish that goal solely on Night Metro. And also the hint art only spawns in Day Metro, so
But
that's
he does have
double
a
whammy.
really good head start on those purples already by collecting most of the ones in City Hall.
Oh yeah, he's sitting really pretty.
Yeah, I can definitely see high 50 finish in the near future. Meanwhile, Samu still has to complete all of Metro. Granted, he can any percent it, but
Yep. But any percent is going to take him about 8 minutes, probably
a
more.
little too much time, I would say.
Certainly. Anyway,
Now, do
Dray,
you think this would have been different had he not revisited Cascade 3 times?
well, it would definitely be a little different. For one, he would be further progressed in Metro compared to Dray, considering
Because
he's only a
keep in
little
mind,
bit behind.
Dray doesn't have much to do in Metro, but he still has to go into the kingdom, get a hint art, collect the remaining regionals, and the 8-bit.
No. That's hard to say because
A little bit of time. I'd say about 3.5 more minutes. So this would be a lot closer match at
Yeah. Oh, and we'll
not
see
revisiting
if...
Cascade 3 times.
Okay, Dray manages to get the 2-cycle here. Not too much difficulty. Did miss the first segment of Wiggler there, but had a good enough pattern. No
Yeah, his pattern was
shenanigans.
pretty clean.
But yeah, even if Samu did pull off his Cascade objectives in fewer visits, I think Dray would still be having a pretty large upper hand here just based on route alone.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I'm honestly not 100% how much that would have affected.
Yeah,
Because like I said, like Dray still has to do a couple of things in Metro.
sure.
So. And that 8-bit moon in the private room isn't exactly a fast moon. So that alone is at least 30 seconds or something.
Oh yeah, give or take, I suppose. It's certainly, in terms of 8-bit moons, it's not a bad one to go for, I would say.
No, not at all.
And actually, if you want to finish without going to Snow or Seaside, do you have to do that one, or is there 8 available?
There are 8-bit sections available with Metro.
That's what I
However,
thought.
there's 7 if you avoid Pyramid.
Right.
So, and that's usually the one that you skip. Because, well, it's in the Pyramid.
Yeah.
This is an interesting idea on Dray's part. He has 29.
Yeah, I think the
That
idea
sucks.
here is he's getting his purples as he's getting up to the rooftops here to get that hint art, because it is just about this direction. Oh, getting a weird ball
Oh
jump.
yeah,
there.
alright.
And
Oh,
there's the
I
third.
don't think Dray knew that there were purples literally right next to the hint art.
That's okay. It worked out pretty well for him anyway. I think that was
Yeah,
decent
definitely.
routing. But yeah, there's his third hint art looked at. There's his 30
Hmm.
Metro moons, and he's going to be going to the notes room now.
I think he's having a little bit of trouble.
There it is.
finding it. There it is.
Had to be around there somewhere.
Yeah, you know, there's only so many open doors in
Sure.
Metro nowadays.
Meanwhile, sorry, not to glaze over, Sebo having a lot of trouble with Scoot Clip here, but he does finally get it now. But definitely would have been faster to just use the RC car at that point, but yeah, you gotta try.
So yeah, I think we can definitely confirm that Dray pretty much has this. There's
Oh,
not
yeah,
really
for
too
certain.
much that he can do to screw this up at this point.
No. He could make half a dozen extra Goomba faces for us if he chose to.
Yeah,
But,
you could
yeah.
definitely mess up Goomba picture match once or twice and still be fine.
Yeah. And there he is. He's on his way to club. We'll see what beautiful picture he'll make for us tonight. But overall, a very, very strong performance for Dray.
I would say so.
Meanwhile, Samu about halfway through his day metro route here. Again, just standard 80%.
Yeah, I definitely think Sammy's hiatus might have taken more of a toll than we initially thought.
Oh, for certain, yeah. Especially with a improvised format like Bingo. You want to be fresh
Yeah,
on your feet.
especially with Bingo, because like you need as much knowledge about the game as you possibly can. At least, you know, the first 5 or 6 kingdoms up to Snowy Seaside.
Yeah. Dre being very meticulous with his eyeball placement here.
I wonder if he's going for that
wants
one
to be
hundo.
perfect.
Well, he's not going to get it with that eye placement.
Can you get a hundo with Smiling Goomba, though?
No.
Well, that's not worth it, then.
I think the most you can get with a Smiling Goomba is a 90.
Okay.
I believe the game docks you 5 points for the upside down mouth.
And here we go. Is he doing
Don't.
it? Is he
don't
doing
quote
it?
me on that.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
And this should be Dre finishing out
Not bad.
just in a couple of seconds here as he grabs this moon. And a final time at 58.29 for Dray33. Moving on to the quarterfinals, where he'll be facing me, actually.
Ironic.
So, yeah.
But yeah. Shout outs to Dre for the sub 5830.
Yeah. Yeah,
Very
pretty good time, I would say, for this board.
Yeah. Good performance. I'd say definitely for this board, I've definitely could have happened, but it was a little bit tricky, I would say.
Yep.
This board wasn't exactly the easiest.
Yeah, it had a lot of long-reaching goals that you had to pick and choose from, so
It
I would
wasn't like
say...
a clear-cut route that I'd say was 100% the best.
Mm-hmm.
But then with these type of boards, it definitely makes them more interesting for tournament format.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, Sammy's got a little bit of a way to go here. He's almost done with Metro, but he does have to go to Seaside for a couple of things. But in the meantime, we do have Dre on the call
I'd say
with
he's
us.
probably like 3 more minutes, give or take.
Yeah, about. So we'll use those 3 minutes to talk to our winner for the night here. Dre, how you feeling?
All right.
Feeling pretty good. I'm not too sure about my route, but
I was a fan, personally.
I mean, we thought it was alright.
okay, that's good.
Honestly, with this board, I felt like there wasn't like anything that was 100% clear-cut the best route. I mean, like, you definitely going for the early finish was the smart play here.
yeah, for
Because
sure.
I think Samu did both Cap and he's going to Seaside.
Yep.
Mhm.
So,
I didn't like the big moon goals and well, not really that big in sand, but the wooded one ate up a lot of time.
Yeah, we noticed your routing there was a little less than ideal. Not too bad, but definitely could have been a point for improvement.
The routing in wooded,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Didn't really know it was gonna terminate.
Dre, you and I actually had a very similar start because the first thing that I saw with this board was, wow, there's pretty good synergy with a whole regionals in one kingdom, the 8-bit moons and the 12 moons in Cascade with
Right,
the sub areas.
Yeah, I would say that was a highlight
Like-
for you for sure. That regional
That's a really
routing in
strong start.
Cascade was really, really clean. Just great routing on that part.
Yeah, I was really happy that I basically had a reason to go to the sub areas because of the 2D moons and the
Mhm.
sub areas, and then the coins that are in that one sub area.
Yeah, it just worked out really well since, you know, you're staying in Cascade long enough to get the regionals, you're staying in Cascade long enough to do the sub areas.
Hold on, what just happened on Samu's screen?
He uncaptured the Gushin. Hit the checkpoint.
Did the Gushin get like launched, or did it just disappear when it got hit
I
by
think the
that?
Gushin fell on the spikes.
Something about that seemed
Or the
really
giant
strange to
snake.
me. All right,
You know,
well-
keep in mind these are called moon snakes.
Is that the official name?
Yes.
Interesting.
Really?
I don't know why. Personally, I call them giant meat sticks, but that's just me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But yeah, the official name for those is a moon snake.
Fascinating.
I know, right?
Oh
But,
yeah, forgot completely about my hin art goal and when I went to Wooded and had to backtrack to Lake. So that was interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's what that was about.
Definitely the smarter idea there, because the next centaur would have been in Seaside or Snow. So
Yeah.
You pretty much had no choice to backtrack at that point.
mhm.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was about, but I like didn't really think too much about it. I was like, it's probably nothing.
Yeah, fair enough. You certainly had fewer backtracks than Sammy here, so we'll let it slide.
All right. Cool.
What it's slide.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What did you think about the different long-term goals here? You had 8-bit moons, treasure chests, timer challenges, a lot to choose from there. What made...
I threw row 1 away immediately. And I didn't want to deal with treasure chests and timers.
I totally agree with
fair,
you.
fair decision there.
It just takes long to do both of them, and it sends me to Seaside essentially.
The biggest problem with doing row 1, you know, with the TLBR and column 5, is just the fact that you're keeping track of 8 bits, you're keeping track of timers, and you're keeping track of treasure chests. The 8 bits and the treasure chests kind of work all together, but I feel like the timers completely throw everything off, since those are in very different locations to do
Mhm.
to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like you could have done 1, maybe 2, but definitely not all 3.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah,
Santa
the
is finishing up now,
Oh, right.
This doesn't work very
grabbing
well.
his 30th right there. And we've got Samu in the call now. Samu,
There we go.
probably didn't quite go as planned for you there, but how are you feeling, man?
Nah, it happens.
It happened, yeah.
Yeah, I
Cascade.
think that's kind of the moral of the story here. You know,
I think
Yeah,
Cascade being the big question here. I believe it was 4 separate revisits, just for different stuff that had gotten forgotten there.
Yeah, I
it
broke
was
out the
3
one in the lake,
revisits.
then Cascade, and I changed my route actually. I went for column 2 instead of column 1.
Okay, yeah, we thought that might have been the case, given the bit of the sporadic revisits.
Yeah, that kind of confused me. And I went to this match like without any expectations because I haven't played for a long time, and bingo is like not my strongest, especially routing. And I really wanted to avoid Seaside, but I didn't avoid it because I really like this level so much.
Yeah, well, fair enough. It happens. Definitely difficult to pull out a good route when you haven't been on the game for a little bit.
Yeah, as soon as I saw Dray clicking the bullet, I saw what he was doing. So at that point, I was like, I need some kind of miracle to win at this point because I didn't expect 7 moves from 8-bit being that good. I personally don't like it, so I was like, nope, when I saw that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think unless you guys have any further thoughts for us right now, we're ready to wrap this one up.
Yep, pretty
GG's,
much.
Dray.
I'm actually gonna jump out of the call early because I have to start getting ready for my match. So
Oh, that's right. You're next up on the blocks, Agron.
I am
Good
Who are we
luck,
facing?
Agron.
me versus Small Ant.
All right.
Literally, like very soon.
Yep. Okay. Well, then we'll hurry this along. In about 15 minutes from now, we'll have Agron facing Small Ant right here on the very same channel. So we'll just be going to a slight intermission between those. GG's to Dre once again. And Samu, maybe better luck next time. Thanks for playing. It was a
GG,
fun match.
GG's.